Well, hello, everyone. Welcome back to Living News, episode number 19 today. And I'm really looking forward to today because we've got a really special person that we're interviewing today.
I know.
And we'll explain why she's special
Mm.
later on. But so we're really excited, Corinne.
Yeah. For those of you who probably it's the first time that you're watching us, this is my co-host Johnny, and
Yep.
like he said, I am Corinne. Thank you for tuning in. And yeah,
Just
go on.
want to remind everyone, if we've got new viewers today, just to let you know that as we're having the program tonight, you can communicate to us either on Facebook or YouTube. Just send us a message. We'll get those messages and we'll be able to discuss with you or to have a conversation with you using those messages. Okay, and also with while our guest is on, you can message our guest and ask them a question and see how that goes.
Yeah, I forgot to tell you something really
What's that?
exciting happened. So I was out at a funeral the week before, and
Mm-hmm.
someone that was from England came and approached me
Yeah.
and said, "Oh, they watched Living News."
Oh,
And
wow.
I'm like, praise
Praise
God.
the Lord.
This is
Praise the
really
Lord.
lovely. So,
Yeah.
you
Yep.
know, so even though sometimes, like we say, when we go live, there might not be that many people watching,
Yeah.
but yet we have people all over the globe watching us afterwards.
Yeah.
So that's really encouraging and yeah, good
Yeah,
feedback.
and as we know, as you know, Corinne, we do have people in other countries watching us. We know that there's New Zealand, Indonesia, Mauritius, Africa, and America. So yeah, we do know people are watching from
That's
other places.
good.
And I was on a plane coming back from America.
Yeah, where you went, yeah.
And I actually was sitting next to this young lady that we had a really great conversation about different things, and we were talking about Living News, and she was really keen. She really wanted to
Oh,
to watch
wow.
it. So you
That's
know,
awesome, Johnny.
yeah. And then I was talking, and while I was at the conference, I met these guys from America and Africa, and so we're actually going to be in some of our future episodes. We're actually going to be interviewing some of the people that I met while I was overseas. So
Okay.
yeah, they've got some really fantastic ministries that they're doing.
Oh,
So
very
I'm
good.
really looking forward to these future episodes that we've got coming up.
Lovely. We have
Yep.
something coming up now, and that's not your friends from America, but it is a clip, I believe.
Yep, we've got our book review,
Let's do
and
that.
let's have a look at what Josh has to share with us.
Yeah, thanks.
Hey, this is Josh on Living Books, here to share another book recommendation for you. This one is titled Evangelism in a Skeptical World by Sam Chan. Now, I love this book and I recommend this book because I love to promote Aussie authors. And Sam is a minister based up in Sydney, and he writes some awesome things in this book. When we hear the word evangelism, it can seem a little bit scary, a little bit daunting. Maybe we think we can't do evangelism. I'm not a preacher. I don't know how to get up the front and share the gospel. But Sam really breaks down those barriers and shares how evangelism is something that as a church we all need to take part in. He breaks down that it doesn't need to be scary or hard, but something that each and every one of us can do. It's a practical guide for sharing the gospel in today's secular, pluralistic, and often skeptical culture. The book recognizes that traditional evangelism methods may not be as effective as they once were. People are less likely to accept authority-based arguments and prepackaged gospel presentations, and are more likely to be persuaded through relationship. Through not is it true, but is it good, and why does that matter? And one of the big things that Sam talks about is the importance in relational bridge building. Talks about we so often have our church friends over in one circle and maybe our non-church friends in another circle, and they're very two different worlds. And he talks about how important it is to sort of bring these worlds together, have events at our house, have parties at our house, bring people together, let them experience life together, do life with these people in different ways. And by doing that, we can build a lot of bridges, and it opens up opportunity for the gospel to be presented in a natural way. He also talks a lot about contextualization and hearing the story that people find themselves in. That's a big thing that we see in Jesus' ministry, is that he would meet people where they were at and share how the gospel met their need. their felt need. And he talks about how we need to be able to have ears to listen. And when we listen, we can find ways in which we can share about how the gospel addresses our felt needs and people's felt needs, and why we need Christ in our life. And so maybe you're thinking, how do I share the good news? What do I say? What do I do? We'll pick up Sam's book, Evangelism in a Skeptical World, and sort of start breaking down how you can share the good news with the people you find in your life.
I like the sound of that book. Do you know why? There's a lot of reasons why I like it. I like that book talks about the same method that Jesus Christ would do. He would mingle with people. He would, that method actually worked for him. So if it worked for him, that means really that should be the method we should be using.
Yep.
Mingle, getting to know them, meet their needs. Friendship evangelism. That's the way I look at it. And and what I got from that. What did you get from that? What
I got from it is that how we can, sometimes we try to overcomplicate things.
Yeah.
And you got to do, you got to witness to people a certain way and things like that. And it's like cookie cutter approach where everything's got to be the same.
Yeah.
Where what he's saying here is let it be more flowing,
natural,
and mingle with people. Because and you find it. Sometimes the longer somebody's been a Christian, the harder it is for them to mix with other people.
Yeah.
Where he's saying it shouldn't be that way.
Exactly.
It should be just simple. Just mix with people, have people over at your home, go to their home, do social things together.
Yeah.
And as people see you, they'll be more interested in knowing about Jesus.
Absolutely.
Because this program is about good news, and the good news about Jesus too. Even though we're not Bible bashing, we're just sharing good news, and and that's how we share Jesus as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I do like, he talked about that, like if you have a group of friends that maybe don't have a church community or your neighbors or whatever, you should be able to bring them together because, it's all about relationship, and really we're meant to, really love people so much that we want to be with them regardless of where they're at. Do you know what I mean? So I think if we use that attitude, people can tell then that we're interested in them and we're genuine.
Yeah.
So we're not one kind when we go this place and another kind when we go that place.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was a good book to bring to our attention.
Really good book.
Yeah. Thanks, Josh. Don't know where you get those books, but that's a good one.
Comes up with some really good books.
Doesn't he just?
Yeah.
Love it. Love it. What's next, Johnny?
Well, we're going to go straight into our special guest.
Already?
Yeah.
Straight away.
Straight away into
no
our
mucking
special
around.
guest.
Straight
No.
away.
And the reason, and then some of the other components that we normally do, like the cooking and some of the music and stuff like that, we're going to actually do after our main interview tonight. So it's just a bit chopped and changed it around a
why
little
not?
bit.
We can do that.
And so why is this guest special, Corinne?
You tell me.
Well, when we first started Living News a few years ago, this person was a key contributor and a key team member in Living News. And you see the graphics behind us? This person put the graphics together. And, all those little clips about, the books, living books and living recipes and living well.
Love those.
She also put those video clips together as
Yeah.
well. So we really appreciate this person. And she's close because she's part of Living News family.
Absolutely.
And so we'll just want to invite Andrea, if you'd like to come. And
that was quick.
yeah. Hi, Andrea. How are you?
Welcome to Living News.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for being here. Who would have thought that you would be not just behind the scene doing this, but actually now in front of the signage that you created?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, Andrea.
Yes.
The reason why we're bringing you here today was because just recently I heard you give a talk and about your experience and how God led you. And I thought it was really so dramatic, I mean, not dramatic, but really dynamic as to how God actually spoke to you and guided you into getting out of your comfort zone. So do you want to just tell us a little bit, what kicked it off and how this all started? Were you actually looking at being a missionary?
Yeah, no. Not at all. It wasn't part of my life plan.
Yeah.
I think my life had followed a very predictable point up until then.
Mm-hmm,
I had a full-time job, bought a house, graduated from university. It was good social life, close with my family, involved in my church. I was like, yep, God, I'm serving every Saturday. I'll volunteer when I can and involved with Pathfinders. And I was like, I've done my bit. I'm definitely, doing the hours. And then I had an experience at the 2024 Big Camp. And I remember sitting in the audience, watching a video, and I remember feeling so impressed that I need to give a year to God. And I was like, oh, we'll see.
I just asked a question, just to be clear, because as you know, not all our audience are local or, things like that. They might not know what Big Camp is.
Yes.
So did you want to explain, because some people overseas don't know?
Yeah. So for us in Victoria, and I think throughout Australia, we have a camp that all of the Adventist community get together, and it's a camp. We camp in tents. There's kids riding bikes. You go to the camp meetings in the tents, and they have speakers from around the world. And it's 4 days across the Easter period where we get together, and it's like a high point of the year when it comes to people's faith journey, because a lot of commitments are made. There are a lot of appeals for people to step up to the next level with their faith.
Get out of their comfort zone.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And I think God had been preparing me before I didn't even realize. And hindsight is 2020. When you look back, you realize that there were small things that God was doing to prepare me for this decision. And a video came up talking about volunteering with the Adventist volunteers. And it was a very interesting video because I don't even remember what it was about, but I remember the feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And it was such a strong feeling. And to appease it, I just followed the Instagram and left it at that. And I think God kept working at my heart with a lot of different other things. And then randomly, I think it was like a random Tuesday or Wednesday, and I was at work and I was scrolling through Instagram, and a ad popped up from the volunteers page saying that they needed a volunteer English teacher in Romania. And I remember scrolling to the next slide of the post, and when it said Romania, and it was such a strong feeling of, I'm sending you there. And I was like, well, hang on.
Can I ask you, you said that it's a strong feeling, like for you, some people say when they have this calling, it's a voice they hear, it's something weighs heavy on their heart, it's something that doesn't leave their mind. What was that feeling for you? Was it all of the above?
All of the above. It wasn't like an auditory thing that I heard God, but it might as well have been, because it felt so strong.
Yeah.
And, I was thinking, is this just, I want to quit my job and, go on an adventure. And then I was like, no, because I don't want to do that. This is so out of my comfort zone. This is not something that I want to do. And this is not something that's going to benefit me in any way either, because it means quitting my job. It means sacrificing so much here of my life for something that I have absolutely no idea.
Did you pray for it? Did you pray about it?
I did. And
Okay.
this was the issue, is that I said, God, use me wherever you need. And I think that was the key. And I gave God permission. And from then, it was just like a really whirlwind experience. But that feeling was so strong. Like even now, it's hard to explain and describe it.
Was there some other stuff, Andrea, about other than the feeling? Because sometimes we can get emotional and we can have these feelings. Were there other things that really actually that made you say, no, this is not just a feeling. This is God speaking to me.
Good question.
For a particular thing.
Yeah. So I like to plan. I like to be, to know exactly where I'm going, what I'm doing, to have a plan, and just picking up and leaving is not something that I like and that I'm comfortable with. So I said, if I'm going to go, I need to put some conditions that need to be fulfilled before I leave. which meant that I said to God, if this is from you and if I'm actually going to be going, I need to make sure that I have job security so that my work will give me 1 year unpaid leave, which was kind of unheard of and not something that they regularly do. I needed good tenants to rent out the house. I needed a certain amount of funds to be able to go. And there was certain conditions that I put to God that one by one, they got solved in such miraculous ways that even now, when I think back, you can't say that it's a coincidence because so many and exactly what I needed. I remember praying and throwing random figures out at God and saying, I need $250 a week if I'm going to survive in Romania. And it was such a childish thing to do. Really childish because, we have to have faith and we have to trust. And it was one of those moments where I was like, well, no, this is what I need. And I think within a few days, my grandfather had agreed to sponsor me. And my dad came to me and he's like, this is, something that it's on his heart. He used these funds because they're his pension from the conference when he worked as a pastor in Romania. He's used the funds to sponsor another missionary. They have now gone on to another field. He's wanting to sponsor you. And he said, it's not a lot, but it is $250. And I was like, oh,
no way. So everything was just everything was just falling into place.
Yeah.
And really, let me ask you something, Andrea. Did your grandfather know that you actually asked for this particular amount?
No.
So
no one knew.
No one knew.
No.
Wow.
Amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. And it was things that I was so worried about. And then when I would speak with the lady that I was communicating with, she would just answer them without me having to ask. And I think that became a reoccurring thing that would happen in Romania before I even could utter a need or before I could even say something, God provided for it. It was the experiences that I had at the beginning is what helped me to get through the rest. So they were very, very strong and very concentrated, within a month of saying yes to leaving.
That's not a very long time, is it?
No.
Really? You must really have felt like that confidence and that, that power that is with you, that you can move ahead within, like you said, that short time. Asking. So, by the way, your job, did they give you a year off?
They did. So I had sent an email on the Monday and I said, look, I want to do this. This is something that I feel like weighs heavy on my heart, that I have this really strong feeling. And I was really blessed to be working at a place that really valued connection to culture and connection to your roots. And they said, okay, let's discuss. And I think the whole day passed. I didn't hear anything. And I had my resignation letter ready and I was going to hit send. And it was 4:45 on the Monday. And my boss comes to me and she's like, and I think I prayed 10 minutes before she came, which is another crazy thing. And she came and she said, we were able to discuss, we value you as an employee. We want to keep you. So we're going to offer you the 1 year leave without pay. And I was like, oh, so she's like, you come back and you'll have a job, and the funny thing is that everyone that I spoke to at work, they said, if you decide to come back. And I was like, I am coming back. I am. So God was already working behind the scenes for future things.
Yeah. Okay. We'll get to that. But let's say you had a house and stuff like that. You had to organise all that. And so you had a lot of things to do in that short period of time. But did you feel that God was opening doors for you, put in before you had to do those things?
In unbelievable ways. So I was so scared before I said yes. And I was like, is this really from God? I don't know. I need answers. And I remember driving home after, it's a longer story, but I remember driving home and I had to make a decision that night. It was now or never. And it was such an interesting thing because I was crying and I was praying and I hadn't prayed this up until this point, but I said, God, if this is from you, and I remember the Bible verse that spoke about, God giving us peace. And I said, God, give me the peace that, is without explanation, without understanding, that only comes from you. And instantly, and this is, even now I think about it and I get goosebumps, instantly I just stopped crying. I was so calm. And it was like I felt like the presence of God in the car and I just drove. And from that moment to the moment that I left, it was so easy. Everything came so easy. It was like I knew what I was doing because I had someone walking alongside with me.
That's right.
Every single door opened, everything that I needed. Even the concerns that I had, it was like, I'm going to drain my savings account to go to Romania. And God was like, no, I've got it. I'm taking care of it. I think I had to get a moving truck to come, and my dad hired a moving truck, and we had packed everything in boxes. And again, it worked out because the assistant pastor had just moved. He gave me all the boxes. I didn't have to pay for any of the boxes.
Amazing. One thing after the other just fits in place. And
Dad went to pick up the truck, and they said, oh, we're so sorry. We don't know why, but the truck that you hired, the air has been let out of the tires. We have to give you another one. Can you wait an hour? Dad said, sure, now it doesn't really bother us. And he went and picked it up, and they're like, thank you for waiting. Basically, the truck is free. So it was, you can use the rental truck. I think he paid about $50 for it and fuel, and that was about it. Wow. So it was such like a crazy experience where God was like, again, relax. I've got this.
Got you. I've got you. So when all these doors are opening, right? So at what stage was it at the beginning of all those doors opening? What stage did you I heard you say when you got in the car, you relaxed. So how far had God opened doors before you got to that place? Was it at the beginning, right at the beginning, or was it like a little bit more than halfway through?
It was when I fully committed, and I was like, I'm going. Then God was like, okay, well, I'm fully into. And I remember a story, and I want to say it's Alexander the Great, but I'm not too sure. But I remember in Bible study, there was a story that was shared, and it was like when the Alexander the Great and all of his soldiers were conquering lands, they would burn their ships so that they could never go back. It was either, winning or death. So it was, and that was kind of playing in my head. It was like, there is no going back. Like once I commit, I fully commit. So yes, I may have had safety nets because I'm human and I need some security. Yeah. But I was all in, and I saw God opening the doors because I had fully surrendered. And I was like, you just do it, because I have no idea what I'm doing.
That's so good.
Makes me think of a story. I was studying this week during the week on Joshua. And when the children of Israel crossed the Jordan, and the river was up high. It was the peak season. During the snow had melted and the water was coming down, and it was the river was as high as it normally gets in any time of the year. But the water didn't part until the priest got to the water's edge, and they had committed. Then it parted. The God didn't say, like, while they were 200 meters away, parted the thing, and they said, they could say, yeah, let's go. It wasn't. They had to keep walking. They got to the river's edge, then the water parted, and they crossed the Jordan River. And it makes me think of your story where God just keeps on challenging it, or opening doors for us, but we don't actually see them until we actually commit.
And then, until we reach the door.
Until we move to
reach the handle, the door opens, and praise the Lord.
I liked, that's a really good story. Very, very good. I want to just draw back to a point that you said, because I can relate to that, and I don't know about you viewers, whether you are the same. You said that you, correct me if I heard wrong, but you used to have everything into place, like in control, that for some people, they have that's how their life run. It's a routine and in control. So what is it like to not have control and to going to Romania where you don't know what's going to happen? What is that transition like?
Look, if I did that transition without God, I don't think I would have survived. Because again, everything in my life, I was in control of it. And I think, I was surrendering to God because that was part of, my faith and the journey. And every year I would make commitments and try and surrender. But until that point, I don't think I fully surrendered to God. And I don't know if I fully experienced the peace and the blessings that come from full surrender. So God was asking me to give up control because I hadn't fully given it up. I hadn't fully received the blessing. So as soon as I gave it, I got more than what I gave up.
Wow.
So it was
such
a powerful experience because I was holding on to, something that I thought was great. and God had given me, and he was just waiting for me to let go to give me
Yeah.
so I can be able to hold something else.
Yeah. It makes us think, doesn't it? Like, really, are we holding back to getting all those beautiful experiences because of control? We're scared to lose control, and therefore we're scared of, like what you said, receiving those blessings.
It reminds me of another story in Malachi chapter 3 verse 10, where it talks about when God says, why you're holding back, returning your tithes and offerings. If you do, God will bless us so much that we won't be able to cope with the blessings. And I think it's a very similar thing, that once we give and give faithfully, whatever it is, whether it's ourselves or whatever, in this situation it's you're giving of yourself, God blesses, and that's amazing. So when you got to Romania, was there anything that happened where you think, oh, I'm really struggling here, I need God, God going to get, how am I going to get through this?
Yeah. Look, every day there were challenges. I knew that because of the experiences, the strong experiences I had at the beginning, I knew God was going to carry me through. But of course, again, like, human doubt and human nature takes over. Especially in like the physical need side of things. So eating, sleeping, all that kind of stuff. And when I first came, I was very much reliant on the generosity of those around me. I didn't drive in Romania. I hadn't figured out how to get to the grocery store. It was certain things that, like, just food was very basic. And I remember thinking, I need to go figure this out, because at that point, it was just whatever. There was no, like, I couldn't rely on anything. I couldn't be like, yes, I can go tomorrow to the grocery store. It was, when will someone bring this, or when can I ask for this, or when can I go with someone? And, just a short story. I remember being out of food almost completely because it was before the holidays and there was no one on campus, and it was, I think I was down to my last tomato, and I was praying.
That's really enough food. You've got one tomato.
But I remember praying, and I was thinking, like, God, we got to do this together. We've been in this together so far. I'm sure taking the bus in a foreign country will be fine. And I was going through it. I had Googled it. I had, like, the whole plan, but I still, of course, there's a lot of anxiety going. Just even here, I struggled to take public transport. So it was enough to be alone and in this country and then have to go anyway. And I prayed, and I think, or even before I finished, or because I remember I was in the car as I was praying with another teacher, and we had gotten out of the car, and the teacher says, oh, I'm leaving tomorrow. I have bread and tomatoes and avocado. Can I please give you this, because it's going to go off? And I was like, oh, food. Oh no. I was like, God, you take care of even the things I eat.
For all your needs.
That was, again, it was just God showing me something small, but something that has such a big impact. And it's a huge challenge, especially when, you're still navigating just social interactions. And I'm not an English teacher, so I had to figure out how to teach and how to teach English, which is a lot harder than I thought.
That's a good point. Sometimes we think, if you're going to do a job, you need to be trained in that job and so forth. And now you're going as a missionary to do something that you weren't trained in.
Yeah.
So how come that wasn't a barrier for you? Because how come you didn't have to be trained as a teacher to be able to go and do teaching?
Yeah, so look, I was very blessed that through the Adventist volunteer service, you can do training through them to be a missionary, but then you can also, they train you on the spot. So the school that I was teaching at, they gave me a lot of just support and help around it. And with that, the practical side of things, I felt as though I was well equipped.
Yeah.
But the saying that where God guides, he provides, this for me is what I lived, because everywhere that God guided, I felt that he provided everything I needed to be fully equipped for what I was dealing with.
Yeah.
And I think that was, again, it's the confidence and the assurance that you need to be able to get through any challenge. And, even not coming from a teaching background. And there's a lot of challenges I was familiar with working with children, and I was, I had the skills that were transferable.
Yep.
But it's different when you have to control a classroom and we have to It's a whole day thing, not just
And
a 1 or 2 hour.
Romanian is not your first language either.
It
as
was.
well. Do you speak in English in the classroom?
I do speak in English in the
Oh,
classroom,
that's
which
good.
makes
That's
it
good.
easy. Which makes it easy. Another thing, learning Romanian, it was, even though I was born in Romania, I came when I was 2. So I speak English. English is technically my first language.
Yes,
and then
absolutely.
going back, having to learn Romanian, again, I felt God was helping with this as well, because there were key moments where I needed to speak in Romanian and I knew I didn't have the words. And then suddenly I had the words.
Wow.
So couldn't come from me because I don't have that. I don't have the skills to do that.
Actually, that reminds me of something. I remember it wasn't too long after you went there that you ended up being on TV.
Yeah.
And you had to speak Romanian. So how did that go?
Yes, that again, where God guides, He provides. I remember sitting in the dorm rooms, because that's where I live, on a university dorm room, going from living by myself to, having a whole house to just a room. And I remember sitting there. It was after school. I was so exhausted those first few weeks that I was just sleeping in the afternoon because it was just too much. So I would teach, and then I'd go and have a nap. And I remember I was so tired, and I got a phone call, and it was the lady that had contacted me to volunteer at the school. And she said, look, I know it's short notice, but can you come and be on, she said podcast at first. So I was like, sure, we're just talking. I'm great at talking. I love talking. I could talk for hours. And I don't know why I didn't ask what language it would be in. And she said, sure, okay, well, I'll pick you up from school. Come, dress nicely. I was like, oh, okay, all right, that's fine. I didn't really ask too many questions about it. And she showed up, and then we're driving, and I realized I don't know where we're driving. So I start to ask questions, and then I see the big Hope Channel logo, and I was like, oh, I think we are, I think we're going somewhere, somewhere. We'll see. And then we walked in, and she explained that, no, this is not a podcast. This is actually, primetime TV on the Hope Channel that will be broadcasted that Friday night at 7:30. And it's an interview about like my journey to Romania from Australia. And that I would be sitting like this doing an interview, and I was like, okay, great. I'm sure they'll have a translator. The lady will understand and she can translate. And she said, no, you need to speak in Romanian. And I think at that point, my Romanian skills were not that great. And I sat there, and I remember, being mic'd up and being, after going through hair and makeup and sitting there and being like, okay, God, I think you need to be in control for this one because I have no idea. And again, the words just came out, and she understood. I didn't really understand what I was saying, but when I watched back, I think I understood. It was okay. Like, people understood and resonated with it, which again, God in itself,
God gave you the gift of tongues.
that in itself was a miracle. So
wonderful. Had you not gone from speaking with you, so many things, happened that wouldn't have happened if you were here.
Yes. Yep.
So was there any experience where you shared a lot of experiences, what happened with you? Is there an experience over there that happened and you said, I know why I came here? Now I understand why I came here.
Yeah, there were a few moments like that. There were a few moments where I was speaking with someone or just talking and using the skills that God gave me. And that person would stop and be like, if you just came to Romania just for me, it would have all been worth it. Wow. And it was one of those things where you become so humbled and so taken aback that that's something that someone else has said. And, God has given me, I believe it's a gift from Him, the talent of counseling. And I was a therapist in my previous job. And it's something that is part of who I am. When I talk to people, that's just naturally will always go towards, what do you need? How can I help?
Yep.
And I think God put me in key moments with people where they needed that, and where they needed just somebody and just that encouragement. And I think there were a few moments and really like close, intimate moments with people where I saw God working. And I think that was, to see transformation in their lives, that was just amazing. And then not only that, but I was being impacted.
So that was a really good thing to happen, and that gives you encouragement. But was there an opposite to that where, you just got into the blues and, thinking, oh, is this really what God wants me to do? And you started questioning it?
Yes. And you know what's crazy? And look, my parents can attest to this because I would always be calling them and crying about it. So there were certain key moments where a week leading up to something, I would be feeling incredibly low and doubting and not understanding why I'm here and just really isolated and lonely and confiding in my parents that I'm struggling and I want to, I'm not that I'm going to ever come home because I was in it I had committed, but that it's really hard. Yeah. And I had a week, and then I had an experience and an incident with God and with someone where it was someone else's answered prayer, and I was like, oh, okay, that's very interesting. And then it happened again, and then it happened again, and I realized that leading up to big spiritual tasks that God was assigning me the week before, I would feel that the devil was just attacking nonstop. And when I realized that, then I started to take extra precautions. And I would, put on the armor of God. And I think, those moments were hard. Those moments were really hard, but I had a good support system, a really good support system. And after a few of those weeks, I think God then said, all right, I'll give you a few more. And he sent me some really amazing people that lived on campus that were, again, just an amazing group of people.
Talking about people, you did mention before about somebody said that, if you'd come to Romania for them, it would have been worth it. Can you explain maybe a bit more? Was there a person or something that really impacted you while you were there?
Yeah. You know what? One of my students really impacted me. And she is the daughter of the lady that was, the process of recruiting me. And her faith and her her faith that God would answer her prayers was something that it shocked me, because yes, we think God, we have faith that God will answer our prayers, and we pray, and even when we don't see an answer, I'm like, God will answer our prayers. No, this little girl, she's 11, and she would believe it. She's 11. She's 11. Wow. She prayed for a volunteer. A volunteer came. Then she would tell me, Miss Andrea, I'm praying for this. And I'd be like, okay. And she's like, no, but it's happening. It will happen. And then it would happen. Wow. And it was, the prayers of this little girl they were big prayers. And she believed that they would be answered 100%. She didn't even doubt it. She was like, I'll tell you a funny story. This is quite funny. So I was meant to go to Italy because, living in Europe, cheap flights, 50 euros return. So I was like, sure, I'll go. I'll go with one of the friends that I made on campus, and we'll go stay at her mum's house. And it was a whole week planned. And I was leaving, and there was a few days where it overlapped with school. So it wasn't holidays yet. And my student, the little girl, she prayed, and she said, no, I'm praying that you miss your flight. And I was like, don't pray that. Don't pray that. And she's like, no, I'm praying, and I know that you won't catch your flight. Can you guess what happened? I missed my flight.
Oh, wow.
I missed my flight. Wow. But the thing is, that week, again, God will never ask you to give up something without giving you something better. For everyone that knows that I had been praying for snow, and that week that we had left, that was the week that it snowed. So if we had left, I wouldn't have caught any of that snow, and I would have been devastated. So that was the 1 week where it was more snow than it had been in I don't know how many years. And you got to experience I got to experience that. And she was thrilled, and she's like, well, I knew because I prayed. Wow. So that
it reminds me, Jesus says about our faith. They're like little children. They're simple faith, but they've got a strong faith.
Yeah, and this is why I love working with kids so much, because with adults, we get into our comfort zone. We get, we need to be in control. And even when God opened ways and we're going through it, still we're like, why are we here? So even though, I want to thank you for your honesty, by the way, because we could have just said, oh, it's just a great experience. You should go. Everything will work out well. Yes, it has worked out well. there's also been some challenges, but with the challenges, there's been some great stories that's come out of that. So
we're quickly running out of time, but we could go for ages, but it's been really good. But I think there's a few key things I think we need to make sure that we cover. And, I think missionary, as a world church, we're encouraged to go, and we have a theme. And even Jesus says, when he left, he said, go and make disciples and so forth. And as a world church, we thinking about I will go and to accept the call.
Yeah.
And so as we're talking about this bit more and about mission and so forth, what is there any advice that you'd give somebody that's actually thinking of doing missionary work, whether it be a very short trip or a long trip? Yours quite long, a year or so. But other people may just be a fly build or something like that. Any advice that you'd give to people that have got some sort of thinking that God is calling them to do some sort of mission work?
And Johnny, can I say something before you answer? Is that okay? Sometimes I think people think that they've got this is a special calling. The whole idea is that you listen and then you went. So for someone who maybe, like you said, they don't want to go that far, but they want to go somewhere else, or even just to learn to let go and get out of that comfort zone. What would be your advice for them?
Look, it does come down to trust. And it does come down to trusting God in the little things.
Yeah.
And then you'll trust God in the big things, which means surrendering in the little so that you can surrender in the big. And I think if God has put that idea in your mind that he is asking for you, because, going and serving is very, very, I think it's actually crazy. The motto of the school is saved to serve. And I think that that's such a powerful thing, that we are saved to serve.
Yeah.
And when God has put that idea in your mind, he has equipped you to go.
Yeah.
And having faith that he will prepare the way, and he's already prepared the way, and just go, it really is just about setting the things aside and going. Like,
wow,
that's it.
And how's this experience affected your faith with God, your faith relationship?
I think it's strengthening. Doesn't even begin to describe what it's done. For me, it has completely transformed everything. And I thought I had, a solid relationship with God to begin with. I mean, I have the foundation. I'm a pastor's kid. All of the Bible stories, trivia, all of that fun stuff at the top. But the lived experience, that's the thing I thought. However, God was like, no, hang on. Let me work in this space, and you need to let go of certain things. Yeah. And one thing that I think God really worked on for me, and this was a big change in my faith journey, was God worked on my pride. And I think especially someone that grows up in the church, that serves in the church, you can sometimes fall into this trap of pride, and not pride of like, wow, I'm so boastful of what I've done, of I don't ask for help because I think I can do it myself. I won't go to God with this because I think I can do it by myself. And that I am in control and I can do it. That is pride. And that was something that God revealed to me on this journey, and that just took my faith experience to a whole new level. And now I genuinely think that with God, I can do anything. I can go anywhere that he says.
Wow, that's just, wow. Well said.
Amazing.
Well said.
So, we don't want to cut you short, but is there anything that you would like our audience, and again, people may be watching this live, but sometimes people are watching this tomorrow or the next day, or, in a week's time or a month's time, we don't know. With people, I keep getting messages from YouTube and Facebook saying, oh, somebody's been watching Living News, and this could be like months and months down the track.
Wow.
So have you got something that you would like to leave with the audience for them?
I think the whole story is what I want to leave. But the main thing, and I think I've said it a few times, is where God guides, he provides. And when God is calling you, he will equip you. And that is, I think, a truth that when you hold that in your heart, that's the faith that moves mountains. So, yeah.
Very good. Well, Andrea, I don't know about you, Johnny, but I was really blessed by you sharing your faith journey. And to be honest with you, I feel challenged because I feel like I am in this comfort pool where, you know, everything is going so well. But how amazing to have that surreal experience that I've known you since for we've known Andrea for a long time.
Yep.
And I can see that something has shifted. Do you know what I mean? And it's just wonderful to see, almost as if like, total surrender, at peace, like I've never, ever, ever seen you. And what a wonderful place to be at when you're at peace.
We've run out of time, but before we
keep saying that, and then you ask another question.
Where to from here?
It's so good.
Where to from here? Look, this is the dangerous thing when you surrender 100% to God, is that you don't know where your future, you don't know how it's going to turn out. You don't know where you will end up. So tomorrow I am heading off to Egypt. Yes.
Okay.
We have a wonderful group of young people from our church that have gone over to run a youth conference. And God orchestrated it in a way that the missionaries that had organized this trip were present when I shared my testimony, and came to me and said, I think that the young people in Egypt would be very blessed if you came and shared your experience with them.
Wow.
And so again, I kind of got that tingling, that feeling of, I think God might be sending me somewhere else.
Yeah.
So I'll be heading off to Egypt for a week, and then I'll be going to Romania after that.
Wow, that's really great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time. I mean, you're packing to go to Egypt, and you've just come here from Romania not long ago. So we appreciate that you made time to share that beautiful testimony and to encourage someone who's watching. You know, yes, it might feel odd, but once, like you said, once you commit and once you really surrender, wow.
Yeah.
I think I need to totally surrender.
Well,
I want that. I want that.
Well, thank you very much, Andrea. And we're gonna go to our next segment of the program and a little recipe from our chef. So, thank you.
Hi everyone, and welcome to another cooking segment. My name is Diana, and today Ace and I will be assisting Auntie Angela, and today we'll be making mini vegetarian pizzas.
Excellent. So we've just got some dough here for the children that they're just going to roll out. So grab the rolling pin. So it's just a plain pizza dough you can buy pre-made ones already. But, you know, seeing as we've got the kids in the kitchen, let's have them have a little bit of fun. Give it another little bit of roll, or you can just push it down. Yep, nice. Spread it out if you don't have a rolling pin. So we're going to start off with a little bit of garlic butter. So this we've used a plant-based butter with some fresh garlic. We've got some dried parsley and dried oregano in here. And all you need to do is just put just a little teaspoon of that onto your dough. What we might do at this point is pop it onto your tray. So I'm just going to pop your tray down. You put yours on one side, and Diana, so pick it up before it gets too sticky. That's here. Good. Yep. Pop it on your side. And Diana can pop hers on the other side. Yep. So if you want to just spread it out a little, because it will rise in the oven a bit. So try and spread it out as much as you can. Otherwise it'll end up like a bread roll sort of thing. Okay, brilliant. So you've done that. Now we've got some pizza sauce. So just squirt a little bit of pizza sauce on. You can have pizza sauce or not, it's entirely up to you. So squirt it on, grab your teaspoon, and then mix it around. You can put a bit more, but put your pizza sauce on. Done. And you can get creative as much as you like when you're at home. You can use, we've only got a sample of a few vegetables tonight, but you can have any vegetable you like. You can put some capsicum, even if you wanted to put some broccoli, we can use that if you want some greenery as well. That's probably enough sauce. Yep, you don't need too much. Okay, so here we've got some, so you can add your mushrooms, Diana. You can add some broccoli if you like. Ace wants chili on his one, so perhaps the cheese first. And if you want some broccoli, you can put some on just for greenery. If you don't have to. Yeah, you're going to need a lot more than that.
Can I put some cheese on?
Yes, you can. That's a clean spoon, so you can use that spoon. Let's bring it closer. There you go. Yep, sprinkle your cheese. Okay, Ace wants to add chili on his one, so he's gonna put, if you want some chilies too, Diana, you can, you don't have to. Yep, go pop your chilies on. And then we're gonna sprinkle it with some oregano or any herb of your choice. Yep, sprinkle. That's it. Nice. Gonna put some oregano on. Yeah. Did you want some parsley as well?
I just do.
Yep. Here you go. And as like it's optional, you can also drizzle the cheese over the top if you want. Want to put some cheese on? Yep. Just a nice light drizzle over the top. Yep. You can put more on if you like. It's enough? Okay, just pop it down next to the mushrooms. Okay. And we're done, and it's ready for the oven. And now our pizzas have come out of the oven, and we've cut them all up, and it's time for the children to taste. How does it taste?
I really like the garlic, but I think I can taste it well.
Yep, the garlic butter. What about you, Ace? What?
It tastes cheesy.
It tastes cheesy? Yep. And was it fun making it? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you think it's something you'd like to do at home with your family? Yeah, awesome. Well, enjoy. Hope you guys have an opportunity to make a pizza for yourselves too. Thank you.
You know what?
What?
Have you ever thought of putting garlic butter on a pizza? Like I normally think I'll put it on garlic on bread, but that, you know, what a great idea to put that on a pizza.
Yeah.
And then layer it up with whatever you like.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
Very simple. You know, sometimes we try to overcomplicate things.
Too much stuff.
Just these little kids.
Yeah.
Max and
Diana. Yeah.
You know, just these young kids can do it, and if they can do it, you know, why can't we? You know, adults do it.
Absolutely. And you know what I loved also? They put the chili on theirs. Good on you guys.
Yeah.
The red chili.
That's what I would do.
That's what I would do as well. Thank you so much, Ange, for organizing those. And the kids did really, really good. We appreciate that they're getting trained to do that, you know, and very.
But
very
what I like
good.
was so simple, you know, just the base, and then just put a few things on top. And, you know,
actually,
really
if you're
simple.
a parent, get your kids to watch that segment. Obviously, you want them to watch all of it, especially Andrea's testimony, because I reckon that's for all age group.
Mm-hmm.
But get your kids to, you know, maybe have a night where they actually cook for you and make them understand what it is, how much work is involved into making a meal, and train them while they're young. Why not?
Yeah.
Looks nice and easy.
Sure.
What's next?
Well, it's good. Now we're going to have a musical item, and this is about the theme for tonight is I Will Go.
Yeah.
You know, when God calls, I will go. And it's a group of young people from Betikama
Okay.
Adventist College, and it's the Form 5 group of people. So young people, thank you for your ministry, and we want to listen to your song.
Yeah,
They're from the Solomon Islands.
Lovely.
As I look around today, I see pain, suffering, children crying, people dying.
Lord, strengthen me, Holy Spirit, fill me, help me to go and do your will.
Love the lyrics to this song, Johnny.
Beautiful.
I don't think we need to expand anymore. I mean, after hearing Andrea, after having the book about making friendship evangelism, the recipe, the song.
Yeah. And look, I just want to say something, Corinne, that, this topic tonight, that I will go and, about mission work and so forth. Missionary work is not always just overseas.
That's right.
Mission work can be local.
Next door to
at
you,
your work, at your,
in your
school,
house,
at your neighbours.
Yes.
Mission work, can be local as well.
That's right. I agree 100% with you. The whole idea, why we were so excited to present you this program today, is to remind you to go.
Mm-hmm.
And once, like Andrea said, well said, once you commit 100% to go,
God will open the doors.
the rest,
Yeah.
it will just,
You know, one thing I've learned, that God's always wanting to bless us, but sometimes we're hesitant to receive those blessings.
Mm.
Well, anyway, another really enjoyable night
Loved
tonight,
it.
Corinne.
Loved it, Johnny.
And looking forward. We've got, for the rest of this year, we've got some great interviews lined up, and I'm really looking forward to the next episodes as well.
Yeah,
so
me
thank
too.
you very much, Corinne. Thank you to
Thank
our
you,
audience.
Johnny.
Thank you again to our team behind the scenes, Jamuka, Danubia, Jonathan, and Samantha. Thank you very much for all your help. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you
Until
for
next
tuning in.
time, see you, and don't forget to share. Thank you.
Take care. Bye.